Hey, Matt Hints here again, and this is going to be vlog number 3 for Oh What a Lovely War. And the main topics are today, adapting to the new workspace. Well, I'm going to carry on just going through the list. I'm going to go adapting to the new workspace. So, this week we went to College Road campus, and it was a different space. It was a lot bigger space, and it was really nice to kind of move around it. Even it's like when we did the warm-up, like we moved around it, and it was just so much nicer, like being out of the FAT or the Folly Arts Theatre, and it was just really nice to be out. Like I said this quite a few times now, but and it was a much bigger space. We could do a lot more with the space. We could set up chairs, because the only reason we were at College Road was because there was a music gig that week, so we had to really go there for a week, which was really nice. It was a bit awkward at times. Right, and also we blocked the first half of the show. So as I said in last week's vlog, we blocked up to 12 pages. Now we blocked the first half. So what we did after that was run the first half of the show. And how did that feel for me? That felt good because we knew we had to do a run of some sort, like quite a lot of it, because we're on week 3 now, and we needed to do quite a big run because we didn't do much. We haven't been doing much. Like obviously I've been putting effort in it at home, learning lines, doing all that good stuff. And could I remember where I am on stage? So that pretty much means to me, it means, could I remember standing there? Could I remember standing over in that place? Can I develop me standing over in that space? So like if I'm just standing there like a melon, then I could do something with it, not attract the attention to me, but kind of do something that will help get the audience to notice me in a way. And another one is, could I remember my lines? Could I remember my lines? No, I could not remember my lines. I took my script on stage with me. It was quite hard to remember my lines. I should have been learning them, which I have been learning them at home, but I should have put more and more time, and I should put more and more time into doing my vlogs. And yeah, then it will get easier, and hopefully in the coming weeks I should be able to remember my lines a lot more, because obviously it's getting closer and closer to the date where, or the dates where we are performing, so it's going to obviously be crunch time soon. Circus practice now. We had to circus practice all of ours. We had to practice 20 minutes on one, 20 minutes on the other, and 20 minutes on the other. So circuit practice. So we did the clowning part first, so we just had to try and interact with the different space, because we kind of mimicked the same sort of space that we would have in the arts theatre, but we did it in like a different format. So we tried to practice doing different techniques and stuff like that, and I kind of developed my clown a bit more. I figured out that I actually need a happy clown now, so it's like overexcited clown, and I've kind of figured out my clown now. The physicality is kind of not necessarily stooped, but a lot more, like not down, but like I can't explain it. Well, I should be able to explain it, but it's kind of a stooped character. It's kind of a stooped physicality. Now, nearing the end of the week, we blocked the second half of the show. So we blocked the first half of the show, but we just went straight and just blocked the second half of the show. And does it help by blocking the second half of the show? It does help a lot. It's like if you were left to your own devices and you had to try and think of things that you had to do yourself, which I thought of some things that I could do for that scene, which I could try and play around with just to see if it would work or not. And that came to a conclusion, like when I block it, is it easier to make a character? Because when I usually do things like this, it's not easy to make a character, but all the techniques that I've been learning at college for this year, I kind of get the techniques right now, and it's like when I get the techniques, it's easier to make a character, so it's like a lot easier for me. And then the big one was running the second half of the show. So we're not blocking the second half, so we had to block it in that week. And then we had to run it the same, like not the same day. I think we were there for quite a long time, but we had to block it for the next day. And how did it feel running the second half? Because when I ran the first half, I kind of got the idea of like how the first half of the show was gonna run, kind of what techniques I needed to use to kind of get through the first half. And could I remember where I am on stage? So it's kind of going back to the first half, and like that means like choreographing. So like, do I walk in that position? Do I walk there? Do I do that dance move? Do I do this? And yeah, I could remember where I was on stage. I kind of put all the energy into it just to see if it would work or not, because obviously I use up energy, but I don't use up loads. So I tried to put as much energy as I could in. And the big one again, could I remember my lines? No, because I just couldn't remember them. Like I had like a breakdown of the lines, and it was just like really like frustrating for me. And I was like, so I had to take my script on again with me. But knowing next week that we weren't allowed scripts on the kind of stage with us, so it was a bit distressing, but it was alright. And then the big one for vlog notes number 3 is run of the whole show. And how did that feel? The run of the whole show, it's kind of a first kind of taster of what this show is going to run like. It's like obviously not a lot of us know our lines like crisp, like really crisp, like know them off by heart. It's like we still need our like script with us just to really get a grasp of the lines. But running the whole show was actually really nice to see how the show was going to run. It's like the first half turned out really nice, then we had a break, then the second half turned out really nice as well. We had to stop a few times obviously because like we had to be prompted for lines and said, oh, you're supposed to be standing over there while she was standing over there, which I found that to be really helpful, because if you're going wrong it's easier to be told right there and then if you're going wrong, and obviously if you're going right then they won't tell you like if you're doing anything wrong. And yeah, the run of the whole show was just great, and get a taste of what it's going to feel like. And then we just kept running the show, and then we knew that it's not going to be blocking now, it's not going to be anything like that, it's just going to be running, 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 running. And we also had a couple of things that we needed to think about. Like I thought about this as well, like when you're that kind of army soldier person from World War One, you kind of need to feel the reality of war. So this is coming from research. It's where it's like I researched like some people that like never really came out. It's like they were brainwashed, and like so many people died, and then so many people watching people dying behind them and dying in front of them. Pretty much the reality was, if you had to go off to war and you had a really high chance of not coming back, because it was just ridiculous. And you had to think about the military structures as well, like, or military context, in other words, like what did they have, what could have been used, what could have differed, what could have changed. And a lot came from propaganda. A lot of people wanting different things, wanting too much things, wanting different kinds of this and that and stuff like that, and it didn't help. And this is kind of all linked with the reality of war, because it's just ridiculous. And the way it just got out of hand, it was just, I just couldn't believe it. Like when I read about it in history, you just can't get the grasp of it because you weren't there, but you can just read it from books, but it's never the same. But anyway, that was vlog number 3, and bye.